You've felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you want to know what it is? Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And a very warm welcome if you've just joined me on my channel, Not Just Beyond Things. How you doing, how you keeping? I hope everybody's safe and sound where you are. Crazy bit of footage, definitely 100%. Let's pull it apart. But before I do, let's first talk about this red object that's in the west of our skies. As the sun starts to set, we get to see it more and more, and it's on camera every single day now. You just need to look. Links in the description box down below for everything you're going to find, no matter who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about. We've got these three white objects that seem to follow down with the sun. We've got this object here, we've got this object here, we've got this object here, and we've got this object here. And these four objects are all connected. These are not lens flares, these are projections, because they're trying to hide the incoming objects. They're using sky discs, and because they're using more than one sky disc, it turns it into a great big telescope, and because the camera is receptive enough, it just happens to all go in line and we get to see the end result, hence what we're looking at here. This isn't a projection of our sun or a lens flare of our sun in any way, shape or form, but you take it as whatever you want to. But yeah, definitely a little bit strange, and there is a lot going on in this video. Right, I've taken the brightness down, taken the contrast up, and enhanced the picture just that little bit more. And as you can see, there's lots and lots of white specks on the camera, and I believe that's dirt on the actual lens itself. But we've still got this red object here, this object here, and this object here, and I believe these are projections from our sun simulator and lensing system. And like I say, they're trying to hide it, and because they're using more than one lens, they've made a telescope. Schoolboy error? Refraction of light? Possibly. Or was it done on purpose? That is the question you've got to ask yourself. And this, yeah, does this look like our sun? I don't believe it does. Let's have a look at some more other little bits and pieces that I found. And we're looking at the sun simulator there. We're looking at this big red object here, and I reckon this here is a lens flare. But there's so much going on in the cameras now, it's really hard to tell which it is what. So we got the red object here. Let's just take a closer look. As you see, we've got the red all the way around the outside of the sun, and the two look very, very similar. That's a zoomed in version of that object there. It looks like, well, you make your own minds up. Who am I to say? It's doing a very good impression of a planet, a reflection of a planet, and a red one at that, by the way. What I'm going to do is stop this here just before we get started. We've got this object that moves through the sky, and it seems to have texture, whatever you like, and on the 9 o'clock position and at the 7 o'clock position we get to see things flying about. And there's this red beam of light down here, and this is the way they try and obfuscate it. Like I say, you make your own minds up. I'm going to stop it just there. You can see that one there, there was one there, there's going to be another one up here, and like I say, there's going to be one there. Is that actually part of the projection, or is this actually on the camera and they're flying rods or whatever they might be? So you've got to ask yourself, what are we looking at? Projected images. Jeff P has actually told you, shown you, I've actually shown you, I've told you. Links in the description box down below for everybody. Like I say, you make your own minds up. Let's have a look at the next bit of footage. Chalky List West, 265 degrees. Sorry if I haven't pronounced that properly. Let's have a look at this bit of footage and pull it apart. And as you can see, the sky is starting to get red and then all of a sudden we get this object, and this appears just for 2 frames. Well, each picture is 10 minutes, so basically 2 frames, and it disappears. So we know that this is a projected image. It's not a lens flare, it is a projected image. If it was a lens flare, the sun would be in sight, and it's not, it's up here. And there you can see that's just disappeared in 30 minutes. This red object that we've been looking at just here, yeah, I believe it's the same object that is being reflected on the last bit of footage that we just looked at. If you look here, it looks like there's a massive big red, well, yeah, you make your own minds up. It's there, you can see it. And you get to see, yeah, it is what it is. You can see the sun simulator coming over, and I was going to stop it there. In fact, I am just going to go back just 1 click. Right, what I want to do is stop it here, because I think this is very, very important. We've got this object here, we've got the sun simulator there, and we've got this red object that's behind the sun simulator. Is it in front of the sun? Not really too sure, but we can see that the refraction, reflection, whatever it might be, it is not a lens flare. And you can see there's an interaction between the sun and this object here. Is it a planet? And as you see, we get to see another one just here appear. And click through, you can just see it at the bottom, and we get a reflection of this sky object here, and you can see there's a red hue around the sun, and of course that's totally normal. 1, 2, 3. And we've got this object here, we've got our lens flare here, and this is definitely a lens flare. Reflection from the sun simulator. And yeah, it's starting to, well, you make your own minds up. It shouldn't be like that. Let me stop it here. This is really a damning photograph. This I don't believe to be a sky disk, but you make your own minds up. We got this, yeah, to me everything looks wrong. If you look at this, this is our Fresnel lens, and you can see it, it sticks out like a sore thumb. We still got our red lens flare here, but we still got this projected image here. And if I stop it there and zoom in, what can I say? It certainly shouldn't be on camera. So what we've got to remember, this object actually moves with the sun and is being obfuscated by sky disks and mirrors and smoke, hence the chemtrails. If you look at this picture, this is from Roof Glacier South, and the pictures are every 10 minutes. You can notice in the sky, it's got this red hue to it. It might not translate onto video too well, but yeah, it's got a red hue to it with a touch of purple. And as we click through the pictures, like I say, each picture is 10 minutes long, we get to see something quite strange. And as the sun goes through the sky, well, the sun simulator and the sun, they're both together, one's in front of the other. I've said this before, and so is Jeff P. You've got this red hue that stands out a little bit more, and something just stands out there. But in the next picture, we get to see something a little bit stranger. We've got the red hue here, and we've got this object here. And let's put it into a program, and let's have a look. We decrease the brightness and increase the contrast. Red hue here, and we got this object here. Let's click and invert it. So black is white, white is black. Yeah, it just becomes a little bit more defined. And as you can see, does it look right? Well, that's down to you. But then I click to the next picture and we get this object here. This reminds me of the upside down planet. And I've shown this many times, and I'll show you a picture right now. But then you've got the red hue around the outside. Let's play with brightness and contrast, and we get this. It stands out a little bit more, and I think you can totally agree, after looking at that picture, it does look like the upside down planet, but the right way round. So are we actually looking at the real McCoy? And we got this red object that is going with the sun and sun simulator. Like I say, it's for you to make your minds up. Inverted picture, it stands out just that little bit more. And as in 20 minutes it seems to just disappear with the sun into the background. Right, Fort Yukon East. Well, now we're going to have a look at this picture. Everything looks normal apart from the chemtrails in the background. We've got a lens flare here, and we've got this white object that follows the sun. Let's click to the next picture. This is where it starts getting a little bit strange. This red object that I've been talking about, and you've seen it's there in photographs and it shouldn't be there on camera. We get to actually start to see just here, and it becomes like a crescent, like it's being obfuscated by something, and it stands out just that little bit more there. Now, is that a sky disk that we're looking at? Possibly, and the red is being reflected off the sky disk. That is very, very possible, but yet again it's red, and just there you can see it's being eclipsed, and then the chemtrails come in. It's for you to make your own mind up. It's for you to decide. I'm just showing you it shouldn't be on camera. Right, I've just got one final clip for you. I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to speak about it. It's for you to decide. It speaks for itself. That's all I've got for now. Much love, much peace, and I'll catch you next time.
That this individual was videotaping just a few days ago, because frankly Venus is not visible in the early afternoon anywhere on this planet. As you can see, the object is clearly visible, and some cloud cover was moving in, and you know, at first I thought, okay, maybe this might have been the moon. But just remembering the other day, I was out for an early lunch with a friend of mine, and he noticed that the moon was out. And this was around 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I actually snapped a photograph of the moon, and I'll show you that photograph towards the end of this video. But when I was looking at the video footage, I tried to zoom in and crop the photograph so I could get a better look at what this object is. And I mean, it's a very bright object. It's clearly visible, and I really don't know what to make of it, because it's definitely not the moon. Because again, I photographed the moon that afternoon, which was just, I think, about 3 days ago. So I added some filters and zoomed in closely to this object just to see if I could get a better view of it. And it seems like it's giving off quite a bit of light just sitting there in the daytime sky. And this video footage, I don't have the exact state where this came from, but it was from one of our US subscribers. And they just stated that they happened to look up and notice this spherical object in the sky, and they started videotaping, and there you go. Now, as I mentioned the other day when I was out to lunch, my friend saw the moon, asked why it was out, it looked so big, and this was my photograph, and this was not cropped or zoomed in. This is a photograph that I actually caught with my cell phone. I did zoom in with the cell phone, but this photograph is not cropped. Now, I did zoom in a little bit and crop this so you can get a better view and compare what you just saw And that was definitely not the moon, nor was it Venus, because Venus would not be visible that early in the day. Now, I'm able to see Venus at around 5:30, 5:45 in the late afternoon, and it's very bright. And we're going to get into some of these questions about Venus and why we're seeing it so bright in the sky. But there you go, folks. We may be seeing planets in the daytime sky. Stay tuned. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce one of our new affiliate sponsors, Food for Liberty. And they provide the highest quality long-term food storage, water purification, and survival prepper supplies. All foods have a 25-year shelf life, certified non-GMO ingredients, and also a gluten-free option. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very smart idea to have at least a 30-day supply of food and water in the case of any emergency. So there will be a link provided in the description box under this video for Food for Liberty.